Okay, so today I want to go ahead and get WordPress and my page builder installed. And I want to slowly go through that a little bit. And then we will go ahead and put together the web page we've been working on. This video will assume you have your own domain. If you don't know what a domain is, I will try to find a video and put it in the description. You should have your own hosting. If you don't know what hosting is, I will try to put a video in the description as well. But this video is going to assume that you have your own domain, and mine is webdevserver.xyz. That is my domain for this project. And this is all I have on that page right now. So we are going to need to go to wordpress.org, not .com, because if you go to wordpress.com, they're going to want you to buy or start your website here. This is the paid, and this is the free do-it-yourself. So we want to go ahead and get WordPress, which is over here. Or you can scroll down and you can get WordPress down here. It's the same, takes you to the same place. And now you can download it. You can download WordPress 6.01, and that's what we want to do. Now, my page builder in previous videos is Oxygenbuilder, and I do not represent these companies whatsoever. I don't get paid by them whatsoever. So I use it because I like it, not because I get paid. And it's worth it to me. I paid for the lifetime license. So I'm going to go ahead and download mine. So we're going to be installing both WordPress on our server, and we're going to be installing Oxygenbuilder inside of WordPress. Okay, now there's a way that you can install using your cPanel. I'm not a big fan of it. I have found it causes issues, so I do it the manual way. But if you're a little worried about doing it that way, you can go to your software section on your cPanel. And mine has a WordPress manager by Softaculous, but you can also go into Softaculous if you don't have the WordPress manager. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to set my PHP version on my server to 8.1. So I'm going to set that as current. This may cause issues and we may have to back it off, but I'm going to set my PHP version, and you don't have to do this. It's totally up to you. But what we are going to do is we are going to need our file manager, and we are going to need our database tool, and we're also going to need phpMyAdmin. So we're going to need all three of those. So to start, I'm going to create a MySQL database, and I'm just going to call it Apex, because that's what we're working on. We're working on Apex, and I'm going to create this database. So that's the first thing you want to do, is you want to create a new database. And now under current databases, I have webdevserver_Apex. Now this part, they automatically create for you. As you can see, it's automatically right here when you create a database. Yours may be different. This is how my provider, this is for security reasons, because you don't want anybody to get into your database, because that is the heart of your website. But I'm going to add a new user here. So O'Brien Design is my user, okay? And I'm going to create a password. And I recommend that you make it strong. Make it a strong password. It would be very bad if somebody got inside of your database. And I'm going to go back. This is my current databases. I've created a database, and I have current users. This is my current user. Now we want to merge the two. So I have add user to database right here. So I'm going to add, I've only got one user and I've only got one database. And so I'm going to add it. And I want to give this user all privileges. Now, if you don't understand what we're doing, that's okay. It took me a long time to understand this, but I did know how to do the steps. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew how to do the steps. So that's okay if you don't know. It's fine. Just do the steps, and it will come to you over time. And now what we want to do is we want to go to our file manager, and we want to go into our public HTML directory. And that is, if you notice, it says CGI bin and Vim. Now, if we go here to the web, to our Firefox website, and here is our domain right up here, our web address, it matches the file manager. See that? Now what we want to do is we want to add right here, we want to upload our WordPress. So we grab the zip and we go open, and that's going to take a minute. Depending on your speed, it will take a minute. I will come back when it's done. Okay, so that is completed. You can see it says 100% and 21.72 megabytes complete. So I want to go back to public HTML. Okay, and now you can see WordPress.6. Now if we go back over here and we do a refresh, we can see it's right here. Actually, I want to create a new directory to store this in. I don't want to do it in this directory. So I want to go, because I'm going to have more than one website here for the channel. So this one is going to be /Apex. Okay. And that's where Apex is going to live. Okay. Because that's the project we're working on. So if you can see, there's nothing there. Can't be found. But if we do new folder over here, plus folder, and we say Apex, we create new folder and we grab this and we can move it. You can do /Apex like that, or you can highlight the file and drag it into your Apex folder. Now, if we double click our Apex folder, we have that in there. And if we do a refresh here, we can now see the WordPress zip is there. And this is where I want to extract it. I didn't want it in what they call the root directory. This is root. That is root. Okay. And you can see inside the root directory is Apex. And I will show you how to get rid of this so nobody sees this. I will show you a little trick on how to do that. Actually, what we could do here is we could go up one level, and I'm going to go into my Vim and I'm going to copy this, but I'm going to copy it to the public HTML. And if we go up one level, here's that copy. Now, if we reload, we get a blank white screen. And if you look here on our web address, it's the root directory. There is no /Apex. So this is just like using your Windows file manager. So if I were to go into pictures, you could see that I was in pictures, and you can see now it says users, ImageMaker, pictures, video projects. Okay. Well, on this server, they don't use backslashes, they use front slashes. Okay. Now, if I go into Apex, now I'm in this directory. See how it says parent directory? I'm in the directory of Apex. Now, this can be confusing, and you may have to watch this video more than once, and that's okay. So all this file did was give us a white screen. That's all it did. And check this out. So if we go in here, you can go to rename, and we can do /old or -old, rename it, and try to guess what's going to happen when I click refresh. What do you think is going to happen? Try to answer that in your mind. See, there it is. It goes back to the listing. Now, index files, both index.php and index.html, are loading files. That's what the server is looking for, and it will load whatever the code is on that file. So if you do not want to have a white screen and you're fine with having the listing, that's fine. That's how you can get rid of it. And when you're done and you want it to go to a white screen, you can rename it and go back to index.php, and now the server is looking for an index. That's the first file it's looking for. And then this file will typically tell the server what to look for next. Now we do a refresh. Now we're back to a white screen. So let's do that again. So we rename it to -old, right? And you'll see the listing again. So what does that tell you? That tells you that you have direct access to your files that are sitting on this server. So think of it just as a Windows machine. Here is your file directory, and we're putting our website inside of this directory. And here's WordPress. We downloaded WordPress, and we're going to extract it here, okay? And that's what it's telling us. And let's go ahead and extract the files. Click close, and there's WordPress right there. But I don't want them there. So I'm going to move these. I'm going to click on all of these. I'm going to click on the top one, and you click on the directory, hold down Shift, and you can grab them all. So I've grabbed them all, and I want to move them to just out of the WordPress directory and just in Apex. So I'm just moving it up one directory, and I'm going to move all these files. And if we go up one level, we can now click on the WordPress directory and we can delete it. And we can skip the trash and just go right to delete. So all I did was I moved all of these files outside of that WordPress folder, because when we extracted from the zip, which is right here, when we extracted from the zip, when we did extract, it automatically created the WordPress directory. Now I know this is confusing, but watch the video more than once. I have taught this class many times, and I know new students struggle with this part of the class. They really struggle with this part of the class. Okay, so watch the video over and over again, and it will make sense. Just give it a minute. It takes a minute to soak in. So now, when we go here and I click inside of the Apex, what do you think I'm going to see? What do you think I'm going to see? Keep in mind, we are inside the Apex folder, and you should have a general understanding of what you might see. Now, if you guessed the WordPress install, give yourself a gold star, because that is correct. We are seeing the WordPress install file. Now, this is how you install WordPress, and that is why we needed to create our database first. So here is the install of WordPress. So if we click continue, because I speak English, sometimes I speak English, sometimes I just mutter, so there's that. So anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, let's go. Okay, so database name. Now let's go back to our cPanel and we go back to our databases, right? And if you scroll down to the bottom, you have a listing of your user, which you're going to need, and you have databases right here. So we can highlight that. We go copy and we just put in our database name. Now our database username, we go back to our cPanel and we scroll back down to the bottom, and here's our database username. We click copy. We highlight it, right mouse click and click copy, and we paste that in there. Make sure you see how I have a space here. See that space? Make sure you delete that. It's very important that you delete it. Make sure you don't have extra spaces. Okay, and your password is whatever, and you can leave the rest. And you run the installation, and you should get here. Now we know that our site is going to be called Apex, and the username will be, I will just create O'Brien Design. That's going to be my username. And my password is going to be, and the rest I'm going to leave. Install WordPress. Now this will obviously be whatever you choose for it to be. And now we can log in, or we can go back to our Apex coatings. And this is WordPress, okay? And if you can see up here, it's under Apex. Now to get back to that login screen, you can get there, you type in /login, okay? And that gets you to the login screen. And you should see a screen like this. If you did everything correctly, you should be able to get to this place right here. And if you didn't, go back through the steps and take them one at a time. But keep in mind, there are a lot of videos out there that teach you how to install WordPress. This is the way I install WordPress. And if you already have WordPress installed, you're golden. Okay, you won't need this at all, except for the fact that you probably want to create a new folder like I did. I created Apex as my new folder. You probably want to do that because if you install WordPress, you could overwrite your current website. So that's why I created a new folder. That way you won't overwrite what's currently up and going. So if you have a live site, definitely create a new folder because this is a testing site. This is not a production site. A testing site is just that. It is for testing. It doesn't matter if you break it. In fact, break it, learn how you broke it, and learn how to fix it. That's what testing is for. It's designed to break, but I'm not a WordPress guru. This is how I do WordPress, okay? So if you logged in correctly, you should be here. And the first thing I would recommend you do is update. I would recommend you stay on top of your updates if you're going to stay with WordPress. And then WordPress is awesome. WordPress becomes problematic when you don't stay on top of the updates. All right, so let's do part 2 now. Okay, so let's go back to our file manager and we actually need to go back to we want to go into plugins. Now, if you go to WordPress plugins, you can see that there's two plugins. You have Hello Dolly and you have Akismet. And if you look in here, here's Hello Dolly right here because it's labeled Hello. And here is Akismet. And those are your two plugins. So this is where we want to put our Oxygen. So let's go back to grab that folder. So let's go to upload. We want to go select file and we want to grab Oxygen 4.0.2 and we want to go open and that will upload. It should upload the zip right here. 100% complete. There it goes. I wanted to wait for the green and then go back. Here's the Oxygen zip. We're going to right mouse click and make sure that you're in the plugins folder. So if you follow over here, up here in the upper left, this will tell you where you're at. So you're in Apex. We know that's the folder for our website. And we know that we're in WP content. And we know that we're in /plugins. That's where you need to be. For your plugins to be working, it's under WP content plugins. And then we extract here. WP content /plugins, extract files, click close. Now up one level and go back into plugins, okay? And there's Oxygen. Now we don't need Oxygen loaded this, okay? And we don't need it. You can delete it. Skip trash, confirm. And you can see here's Oxygen. And we probably aren't gonna need this either. So we can delete that, Oxygen 4.02 and confirm. And we can go back to plugins and we can now activate Oxygen. Now, what Oxygen does is it takes over WordPress, all right? So this may be disconcerting if you're new, and I recommend that you go through these steps a few times so you understand what it is that you're doing. Now, you can browse the library and grab a pre-made website. You can install any one of these, or I go back and I just do a blank. So if we go back to the front, hello world. There is no theme, there is no appearance. We're gonna build all of that. But keep in mind, we're gonna start off with building the homepage. So this is gonna take a minute. So if you're following along, go ahead and follow along. And the only thing that should be different is your domain name. This may be whatever your domain is. https://your web address /apex if you're following along. So we can go back to the back end and this is back to WordPress and you can see that Oxygen is right here. Now the first thing that we want to do is we want to create a template and we go ahead and do add new template and I'm going to call this the primary template. Now this is what I call it. You call it whatever you want. And I'm just going to call it the primary. And I'm going to click publish. And now I'm going to edit with Oxygen. I'm in my primary template and I'm going to edit with Oxygen. Okay, now what Oxygen is, and there's a lot of videos out there on Oxygenbuilder that can walk you through it. I'm going to quickly get you up to speed the way I like to work, but Oxygen is a page builder. And so that's all we're doing is we're building pages. This is the first time Oxygen is loading, so it just takes a minute. Okay, so this is what you should see when you have Oxygen loaded. This is your template, all right? And we are looking at full screen. You have laptop size, you have less than 992, which is your tablet size. So that's your phone in landscape mode, and this is your phone in portrait mode. I want to go back to full screen. And now if you want to add an element, you just click this plus, okay? And you can go into the library and you can look at the design sets. And if you want to see what the design sets have to offer, you're like, okay, gosh, I don't know what any of these are. Don't worry, open up a new tab and let's go to Oxygenbuilder, just do a search for it. And you can go to right here, design library, and you can take a look at all of their designs. They're all right here. So if you see marketing agency, you go back, okay, you should see one that says marketing agency and you can click on that. And I like to look at the sections and the elements. That kind of looks like our 3-column layout that we were working on in the previous video. Link will be in the description, but they also have headers here. Now this doesn't look like our links header, see, but you can click that in and maybe that's what you want to do. You don't have to follow along. So maybe that's what you want to do. But that's how fast you can create inside of WordPress your website. And you can hide the sidebar there. You can also go over here to your structure panel, which is what I do. And this gives you the structure of your page layout. And the reason I like to do this is because if I don't want something, see, we've got the trash can over here. Okay, I can also turn it off. That is the header that we just dropped in. and I'm just turning the I off. It's off, it's on, it's off, it's on, but we want to delete it. So I usually keep my structure panel open and I keep this panel open. And now if you want to go back, you just arrow key back. Now we're back in design sets. You can grab templates. If you want to just create a whole page template, there are no pages in this design set, but I know Atomic. So you can grab a whole page here and you can just drop it in, boom. And you can just start editing. You can start editing. And again, over here in your structure panel, let's say, well, I don't really want the pricing columns, so let's go ahead and delete that. I want to keep this for sure, but let me make sure that that's it. Yep, that's the one I want to keep. I don't want the frequently asked, that can go bye-bye, and I don't want the testimonials, but these two I want to keep. And this one's called CTA license. Now, what do you think CTA stands for? What did we talk about? We called these when you actually have something that the customer needs to do. This says purchase now, right? That is called a call to action. That's what a CTA is. But that's how easily you can create your website with Oxygenbuilder and WordPress. Now, I'm going to leave it for here because I want this to be one video for those folks who aren't really good at installing things. And then in the next video, we're going to go ahead and start transitioning our design over into Oxygenbuilder. And this, now you can see when I said in the previous video about I will show you even a quicker way to build your website. This is going to be even quicker. It takes a minute to learn, but once you learn it and you want to build more websites, this becomes very fast. So thanks for stopping by. And I hope I didn't overwhelm you, but if I did, hang in there. Take it one step at a time. Maybe just watch the video and enjoy it. Watch it from this whole series from beginning to end, and then maybe go back through and give it a shot yourself. All right. Otherwise, you have a great day and take care. All right. Thanks for stopping by. Take care. Bye-bye.